Welcome to This Week in Orthodoxy, the world's only online video newscast focused on events in the life of the Orthodox Church. I'm Emmy Louveris. These are some of the stories making headlines this week. Orthodox Christians observe Pascha. China's first Orthodox priest in 60 years. Thousands flock to Miracle Icon at South Suburban Church. And fires around Orthodox Easter torched 3 churches in 3 cities. First up, more than 250 million Orthodox Christians worldwide celebrated Pascha this past Sunday on May 1st, celebrated almost a month after the Western observation of Easter. The Orthodox date is based on a decree of the Council of Nicaea, Asia Minor, held in 325 AD. According to this decree, Easter must be celebrated on the Sunday following the first full moon of the vernal equinox, but always after the Hebrew Passover, to maintain the biblical sequence of events of the crucifixion and the resurrection. In Jerusalem, the great hours of Holy Friday were read at the monastery of the Praetorium, the prison of Jesus Christ. From there, a procession began through the Via Dolorosa, the way of grief, to Golgotha, in commemoration of the fact that once delivered by Pilate to the soldiers and the crowd, the Lord walked down the street carrying his cross until Simon of Cyrene was compelled to carry it for him. The procession was led by Metropolitan Isichios of Capitolias, followed by priests, monks, nuns, and a crowd of pilgrims in profound piety. The procession arrived at Golgotha in the court of the Church of the Resurrection. In an annual Paschal ritual sacred to Orthodox Christians, the Holy Fire was distributed at the Church of the Holy Sepulchre in Jerusalem on Great Saturday, April 30th. A key component in Orthodox Christian celebrations of Pascha, the appearance of the miraculous flames, the Holy Fire, has been recorded in texts dating back to the 4th century. This year, for the sake of safety and security, Israeli authorities requested to limit the number of worshipers in the Church of the Holy Sepulchre and was attended by heightened security. Once the miracle of the Holy Fire has arrived, it is promptly distributed to Orthodox Christian countries around the world. Here's Archbishop Demetrius, spiritual leader of 1.5 million Greek Orthodox Christians in America, with his Paschal message.
My beloved brothers and sisters, Christ is risen. Truly, he is risen. We celebrate once again the holy and great Pascha, the most significant feast of the year. A feast which, by its name Pascha, signifies the passing, the exit from a condition of slavery and torment to a condition of freedom and joy. Our Lord Jesus Christ, with his crucifixion and resurrection, passed us from the bondage of sin, guilt, anxiety, and death to the immense joy of freedom. He became our exit from the night of evil and sin to the eternal light of a day that has no end, a life that is victorious over death and transfers us to eternity.
And next up, from Harbin, China, his red and gold vestments bathed in candlelight, the first mainland Chinese Orthodox priest ordained for 6 decades led an Easter service on Sunday, one of the most surprising fruits of warming ties between Moscow and Beijing. Alexander Yu Shi said prayers in the Church Slavonic language and in Mandarin beside the Church of Holy Protection in the northeastern city of Harbin, surrounded by local worshipers. It is a happy day. We are welcoming the resurrection, he said, and for the Eastern Orthodox Church in Harbin, it's also a resurrection. The small and elderly Orthodox community, mostly descended from Chinese and Russians who intermarried in the city's cosmopolitan heyday a century ago, lacked a priest for 15 years. Yu, a soft-spoken former bank manager, is the first ever Chinese to have studied at an Orthodox seminary with backing from China's avowedly atheist Communist Party. With the help of the government of both countries, I was able to learn theology systematically, he said. She, who has Buddhist grandparents, converted while studying business in Moscow in the 1990s. He returned a few years ago to enroll in the St. Petersburg Theological Seminary. Ordained last year, he led the most important festival in the church's calendar for the very first time. And next up, thousands across the Chicago area are flocking to a southwest suburban parish to see what they believe to be a different kind of miracle. Since July, tiny droplets of fragrant oil have trickled down an icon of St. John the Baptist in front of the altar at Assumption Greek Orthodox Church in Homer Glen. Parishioners believe the oil has healing properties and that its origins are a blessing from God. The first thing out of my mouth was, "What do I do?" said the Reverend Sotirio Sam Dimitriou, the parish priest. "You don't expect anything like this. It's breathtaking. It's so powerful to see such an act of God before your eyes. Whether it's an act of God or a chemical reaction, no one really knows, and frankly, few in the Greek Orthodox community care. A rational explanation is irrelevant if what seems to be a supernatural event draws people toward God." The oil, which parishioners believe to be myrrh, exudes from the icon's halo, wings, hands, and beard. Collected every week by a reservoir of cotton at the base of the icon, Dimitriou regularly extracts the oil into a pitcher, then saturates cotton balls, which he seals in plastic bags for parishioners to take home and share with their loved ones. So far, he has handed out more than 5,000 samples, a handy way to track the flow of pilgrims. And lastly, investigators in 3 cities, New York, Melbourne, and Sydney in Australia, are looking into large fires at Orthodox churches that occurred around the Paschal celebrations, causing widespread damage but only minor injuries. The historic Serbian Orthodox Church of St. Sava in New York City was engulfed in flames by a fire that erupted around 7 p.m. Easter evening. Going viral on social media outlets, the images of flames bellowing and shooting through the windows were dramatic. CBS reports New York Fire Department investigators haven't given any indication as of yet to what started the blaze. Only the church caretaker was treated for smoke inhalation after rushing into the sanctuary to try and put out the fire, but could not as the blaze was already out of control. Fire Department Commissioner called it a very sad day. No one has been injured, there is no one reported missing, and that's good news for today. The bad news is this church has been destroyed by fire. The city designated the church a city landmark in 1968. St. Sava, formerly known as Trinity Chapel, was designed in 1850 by celebrated architect Richard M. Upjohn in the Gothic Revival style and was originally built to serve the uptown Episcopal community consecrated in 1855. It was purchased from the Episcopal Diocese in New York in 1943 and consecrated the Serbian Orthodox Cathedral of St. Sava in New York in 1944. And in news from OCN, OCN brings you another way to share the beauty of Orthodoxy with the world using Spark, the latest downloadable OCN app. An Orthodox Christian news portal, OCN Spark provides information about events going on in the Orthodox Christian world and persecuted Christians everywhere. The app makes it easy to share news and articles with friends and allows you to make prayer requests for those who are suffering. Visit myocn.net to easily download OCN Spark from iTunes. And much like public radio and TV, the Orthodox Christian Network relies on support from its viewers, listeners, and myocn.net visitors like you. Be a part of our growth and make a contribution today where your donation can support us as we highlight the Orthodox Christian faith through media, breaking down communication barriers while building up avenues connecting Orthodox Christians worldwide. And remember, you can access the many breaking stories, blogs, podcasts, and videos available on the latest topics of interest on myocn.net, on Facebook, or watch us on our YouTube OCN video channel. And that brings another edition of This Week in Orthodoxy to a close. Wishing you a blessed, bright week. For everyone here in our OCN studios, I'm Emmy Louveris. Let's go forth in peace.